everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 2 of Medalist. And oh man, last episode we started out the series, and Tsukasa already has my heart, Inori already has my heart, Hitomi already has my heart, and I am so ready to see where this takes us. We're getting a figure skating anime, we're getting like a guy that had some rejection early on in life and has a chip on his shoulder because of that, and he's teaching this new girl so that hopefully she doesn't end up in the same boat as him, and Hitomi has to deal with it. I am ready to see the potential that this show has and to see where it goes. And I'm sorry, I just couldn't wait. My brother and I are getting ready to go on a trip today, and I was like, I really want to record something before we leave. And this was the immediate yes, this is what I'm recording because I have to. Because I have to see what's going to happen next after last episode. So I am excited to see where this goes. I hope you all are as well. Before I start, really quick, I want to give a shout out over to my Patreon. If you are not a patron, then please go check out my Patreon, see if it would strike your fancy. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You can like these videos, you can subscribe for free and see Medalist every Tuesday until we catch up and help support the channel because I really appreciate that. But Patreon is where I get my money for this channel. I am not sponsored on YouTube or anything like that. I'm not a paid partner on YouTube. I don't want to deal with that stuff because I have some really amazing patrons who support the channel and support me. And the philanthropy tier over on Patreon, they pay a couple extra bucks each month to just help support me and because they really enjoy the work that I do. And I am so grateful for you all. You all are amazing people. So we had a couple new people on the list, so I want to give them a shout out. So to Sunspots, Zachiel, username 123, Jason N, Be Happy, Dana, Alex Cornejo, Violet Stardust, Destiny Marie, Diana Williams, Daniel Devorin, Damage 3245, as well as Ichu, Eric, Fisho, Ghostly Turnup, James, Jessica Cullen, Lyndon, Elfreya, Murphew, as well as Jack Witt, Nicholas, Rose Jennison, Rast, Shimoyama, Translucent Men, Zero Anti-Zero, Mai Chua, Her, Chewy, Lady Lulz, Amorphosilica, and Ian Davidson. You all are amazing people. I greatly appreciate your support. All of my love to you and Patreon and to everybody on YouTube that is subscribed to the channel. Please make sure you are, because otherwise you may miss me talking about Tsukasa and the developments that may happen later on. So, anyway, we're not gonna waste any more time. I am so excited. We are gonna dive into Medalist. Episode 2, we're watching through Hulu. I will try to edit in the description down below so that the subtitles are easier to see. Y'all know how that goes. And we're gonna do that here. And 3, 2, 1, and let us make sure them subtitles are on, and let's dive in. Oh, friends. Oh man, okay. I'm already in love. I'm already in love with this series, and it's episode 2. I think I'm trying not to get the shipping boat ahead of the sales, but show. I have thoughts about our girl Hikaru and this tall, dark, brooding coach of hers. I have thoughts, I have theories, I have comparisons and contrasting things to talk about. We're not bringing Whiteboard Queen out because really the only thing that I would put on there is just to write out that we don't even know the coach's name yet. It's fine, we just know Hikaru. But it would just be to write out that there are 7 steps to get certified to compete, which we've gotten one done. I feel like once she gets going, once Inori gets training and practicing and she's super motivated now, I feel like we're not going to spend 6 more episodes on getting the badges. I don't think that will happen. I think she's going to start flying through some of those badges because all they are is doing the different moves. So I could totally see them doing a montage in the next episode or so where she goes through badges 2 and 3 next week and 4 and 5 the week after, and then she gets 6 and 7 together at the end. I could see them doing that just because we want to get to her actually competing against some of these kids, 2 of which we've met already. Others we've seen in the intro, the OP, which it's giving me very Yuri on Ice vibes in terms of the competition. I feel as though, so if you've not watched Yuri on Ice, which if you haven't, what are you doing? But go do that after this. But if you've not watched Yuri on Ice, in that series, it's more like adult figure skating, so they've graduated, although some of the adult figure skaters are younger, like Yurio in that series is 17, I think, he's pretty young. But he's a professional skater at that age. But they're like adult skating. This is more like grade school to middle school skating. So it's a different environment. However, in Yuri on Ice, there is a flashback where the character Yurio is doing basically what Hikaru is doing, and doing like the national middle school, like the junior leagues, and wins. So that elevates them to the pros. So that's kind of setting up that distinction. And I like that we're getting focus on this. Do I think that we may get Tsukasa skating professionally in this or in an adult competition? Yeah, based on that OP I do. And I don't normally watch the OPs for fear of spoilers, but I'm glad that I feel like the main spoiler was Tall, Dark, and Handsome, and he shows up in this episode, so it's fine. And the rest are all like hypothetical things yet to come. And we've seen Tsukasa skate as an adult with Hitomi, so it's not really spoilers. But I'm not gonna analyze the OP. I'm going to let myself do that each and every episode as we go through, because I don't want to overanalyze it and maybe spoil myself to something. So we'll get to it. It'll be all right. But let's dive into this episode, because there's quite a bit to talk about, and just go over this with y'all. So here in 3, 2, 1, we start out with our boy Tsukasa helping Inori to prepare for the badge test, which is what she's doing today. And honestly, girl, one of my goals for the rest of this year is to start working on my upper body strength. I used to do like weightlifting all the time on your arms, and yeah, the soreness, you let your muscles rest, they build muscle as they go, that you gotta use it before you lose it, sort of thing. But I've had experience where I've done like muscle tears throughout like my sternum, and my doctor's been like, stop doing that. And so I've overexerted before. Overexertion can happen. And so I need to get back into like slowly training my arms back up. When I was on vacation, we sat in a lazy river for like 3 hours. It's a long story, but for reasons. And I had my arms up like on the inner tube like this. And the next day I was like, man, my arms are sore. And it's because I hadn't been using them like that. So there you go. But in any case, our poor girl, I understand the idea of like your muscles getting sore. And he's like, it's a sign of progress. And honestly, Tsukasa, he is so encouraging. Like Inori hung the moon for this man. Like, he absolutely thinks she is going to be an amazing skater. He is so on board with training her. He has so much faith in her. It's really adorable to see how much he like just absolutely loves this girl and like her dreams. So then, and I even like lets out the cackle, which, okay, let's just go ahead and get a little bit of this out of the way. I am in love with the concepts of having Inori and Hikaru and how their chemistry is. And then obviously they've not met yet. Maybe they have history. Maybe they've never met before. We will see. But the stark contrast between Tsukasa and Tall, Dark, Handsome Coach could not be more pronounced. Tsukasa is a giant golden retriever of a man who is so upbeat and excited and just has a heart full of faith for Inori. And Tall, Dark, and Handsome is like a brooding black cat that is just grumpy for reasons we don't know yet. So they could not be more different. And if you've ever read any yaoi, if you have ever watched any type of BL on my channel, you know that I'm like, oh, polar opposites who are tied together by a common red string of fate. Oh, what? I'm trying not to ship ahead of time, but the layers are there. The groundwork is there. The foundation has been laid. The concrete has been poured, and I am just waiting for the first parts of the structure. But yeah, Tsukasa's like, I have to stay composed. I can't let this girl know how much, because he's trying not to let her get too much pressure, which does tend to happen. I think it's important to note that Inori, I like that they are consistent in that this girl has panic attacks. She has a lot of anxiety, and he finds a way to help her through that in this episode, which is really nice. I imagine that Tsukasa has a lot of anxiety as well. And so it's kind of like he recognizes her anxiety and is like, here, let me help you calm down. Hikaru does not seem to have such anxiety. She is pretty natural, but I think that her lack of anxiety comes from her doing it so much. Like, Hikaru's been practicing for years, and so why would she have any anxiety? Whereas Inori has pressure that's put on her. Some of that pressure is unwarranted and does not need to be put on her, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, again, it's very easy to get imposter syndrome, especially in her case, where she's coming at this having not competed, having not, been able to get training until she's 11. And, these kids are like 5 and they're already doing perfect sit spins, which makes me like cringe inwardly like a shrimp myself, because there's no way I could do that now. No way. And I wish that Inori, she's like, the coach compliments me, but I'm no good yet. I wish that she would recognize how amazing she is and how important it is that she's doing so well. And I think that, a coach can tell you all day long from coaching experience, because I am a coach for a competitive team. From coaching experience, you can tell a kid sometimes that they're great, and you can say it over and over again, but sometimes they need a second opinion from up here. And that's just the way it is. They need some validation from someone their own age doing the same thing that they are. Because sometimes it's hard to imagine that your coach has done this before you. They've been in your shoes. It can be hard to visualize that. So I understand that sometimes you need to have a second opinion from someone that's been there. And so for Hikaru to encourage Inori is everything. Like that's really what, especially because, Inori looks up to Hikaru and kind of idolizes her. So to have your idol say, yeah, you can do it. That's pretty impressive. We're going to talk about that conversation, though, when we get to it. The mom, I think, is making baby steps. Like, I want to praise the mom for being supportive of Inori, but at the same time, she's making baby steps, and at the same time, very realistically, she's not going to do a complete 180 just because Tsukasa and Hitomi say that she's going to be great and they're going to coach her. She's still like, I think that Inori's mom has trauma from what happened to the sister, and she's still kind of like, she's not quite fully on board with what Inori wants to do, but yet at the same time, she's trying to be supportive. So baby steps. Although I wish she hadn't said the whole thing about till you're in middle school. Like you didn't need to say that, Mom. You could have just stopped at I'm going to support you for now. Like, you could have even said for now. You didn't have to put a deadline on it, because the moment you put a deadline, that's just adding more pressure onto your anxiety-ridden child, which if you haven't noticed your child has anxiety, ma'am, you need to look closer, because it is pretty obvious all the pressure that's being put on her. So yeah, I love this transition though, from her saying the badge test and being so inquisitive to her like starting out and being like determined and focused. Like, I love that transition into the OP for the first time. Amazing. Amazing. Look, we're not going to get too crazy into this, although I'm really excited because I would love for this story to not just to be about Inori finding her passion and motivation and encouragement to skate the way that she's always dreamed of it, but I want Tsukasa to have that for himself too. I think Tsukasa is owed that as well. And damn, he looked real good in this. This golden retriever man, he looked amazing. I'm super excited to see where this goes. Yeah, super excited. Although, I want to just point out, this girl gives me, where's she at? I want to point out, this girl, there's a girl in Yuri on Ice. So, well, there's a skater in Yuri on Ice that reminds me of this. This girl reminds me of Peachy. Just saying. Just gonna throw that out there. I don't like Rio so far. He is a little turd. And then let's just talk about this. And there's her grabbing, again, I'm going to analyze this as we go. It's her grabbing the little shoestrings on the hoodie like they're worms. Love that. Okay, so clearly Tsukasa has worked with Whiteboard Kun before. This is Whiteboard Kun's cousin, Skateboard Kun, and he has worked with him many times. So we see like you start there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th is the goal. That's when you can compete. So Tsukasa getting them whiteboard skills in. Glad he's doing that and explaining. I love the little doodles. The ED is so adorable, and these little doodles are so cute too. Okay, so let's go back and look at this. So you start out, every level you pass. So you start out just doing basic things. Then it seems like with step 2, you might have a program because there's music, and Hitomi talked about that. Step 3, you have to do the spins. So that's good to know. Step 4, maybe you advance with more practice with your program. And then 5 was what one girl was doing. She didn't pass it, but she had to skate her program. And then step 7 is like the qualification to be able to compete. And it feels like anything above level 8 is like you are competing in actual competition. The figure skating badges just remind me of Pokemon badges. Maybe Japan does that for all of its activities. They have badges as you go. Maybe that is the case. It just gave me like, okay, you've left Pallet Town. You made it past Pewter City. Now let's go from here. Yeah, are you going to get to Vermilion? What's going to happen there? So yeah. And I really think that in Nori's character, she's coming so far already. I can't wait till she gets to the point where she realizes she is good at skating and she doesn't need other people's validation. That is going to be a major step, because right now, with the way that Inori's character is, she is dependent upon people telling her that she's good, but she's not yet confident enough to accept that praise and realize that she's good herself without someone having to tell her, because she's just this big bundle of emotions right now, because she's just starting out, and she's starting out at kind of a handicap. So I feel for her. She's like, if I get all these badges, will my mom accept me? Will my classmates accept me? Will the other people at the skating rink accept me? You know. And the mom's like, well, she's only had 3 lessons. And Hitomi's like, well, she's also been practicing a lot outside of this, so I think she's ready. You can just pass it and go for it. It's just level 1. I think that Hitomi does a good job of explaining, like, it's just level 1. Like, let's, you know, we're just doing the first time. She's like, we can practice spins and jumps after the exam. She's like, let's just do the first one, get your feet wet, pass the first test, and then we'll move on from there. I really like the way that Hitomi and Tsukasa work together. Hitomi is a good, like, straight man character in the sense that she doesn't feed into the chaos like Tsukasa. Tsukasa and Inori create their own chaos, and Hitomi stands on the sidelines like, what? I love her. I absolutely love her. If I had some giant diamond earrings, I would cosplay as her. I'll make you a program once you can jump. So we have an established set of directions. We got past the first exam. We've got to get you a program. We got to get you to where you can jump, and then we'll get you a program. So we have a set agenda of what we need to do. And I get the mom's apprehension. I want to make that known. I'm not ignoring the mom's apprehension. I think the mom has gone through this once before with the eldest daughter. She knows, you know, the excitement that comes with it. She knows the motivation. She's also kind of wary because her daughter went through the same thing and ended up hurt and discouraged. So she's trying not to get Inori's hopes up. And as a parent, I could understand that. I could understand you not wanting your child to go through what you saw another child to go through, and you not wanting to have that trauma as well as the parent of that child, thinking you maybe could have done more. I get that completely. I do think that she needs to keep some of those deadlines to herself and not say it to the child, especially when she knows this child has had a panic attack already in front of her. So saying, like, you can do it till middle school, I know she thinks that's the right thing to do, but that just adds more pressure to Inori, and I'm not a fan. But yeah, look at this golden retriever of a man. I freaking love Tsukasa. He's great. So they're going, she's like, we haven't been here in a minute. Do you remember Inori? So I guess that's where they take the exam at this specific skating rink. And so she's like, oh, remember when we came here with your sister? And she's like, it's been a while, so that has that nostalgia. Then her phone rings. She says, wait here for a second. And she goes to answer it elsewhere and says, how are you? So I don't know who she was talking to or why. I'm sure it's just for plot convenience that the mom had to walk away. But this is where the test ends. So let's talk about Tall, Dark, and Handsome. The trash can gets knocked over by Wolfwood's clone from Trigun. This man walking around like he's in the freaking Matrix in all black trench coat, black clothing, looking like freaking Wolfwood. This man who's smoking, I am immediately attracted. Why is this show doing this? Why are they giving us these really attractive men right off the bat? Do I get Vash and Wolfwood vibes from Tsukasa and this man? Oh, hell yes, I do. Oh, absolutely, hell yes, I do. Do I get those vibes? Well, yes. Do they seem like the sun and the moon already? Yes. Am I already shipping them? Yes. They've not even met. Or have they? Or do they know each other? We're going to see. So, already setting the stage of Tall, Dark, and Brooding with the cigarette, having knocked over the trash can, and Inori's like, I'm a child. So he's picking up the beer, the coffee, the tonic water, putting it up. What's kind of funny is, I don't know if you've watched To Be Hero X, but if you have, he also gives me the vibe of another character from there. Like, he gives me the vibe of another character from To Be Hero X. If you know, you know. You can comment down below. He gives me those vibes as well. But yeah, with the black sunglasses, dressed in all black, the gothic vibes are here. The thing is, Hikaru's outfits are similarly kind of gothic, so they seem to have a similar trend. They look like they are related. They just do. And the moment he takes the phone out and just chucks it against he didn't even look at the screen, he just chucked it against the wall. Sir, what is your malfunction? Why are you pissed off? She's like, what is happening? Okay, so it did say there, Hikaru Kamisaki. Okay, and then his phone dies. And he just lights up another cigarette like it's nothing. Like, what the fudge? But then, yeah, okay. So, dark hair, yellow eyes. He looks very similar to her. Now, if that were, I mean, let's say he's 28. Let's say he's 28. Let's just go on a limb and say that. Let's say he's 28, because Tsukasa is what, 26? Let's say he's 28, just to be generous. And she was 11 or 12. That would mean he would have to be 16 when she was born. I highly doubt that. So maybe not. But let's say he's 24. Then they were only like 10 years apart. So I want to lean more towards the fact that they are brother and sister, because they have the same dark hair, the same eyes, the same fashion. They might be brother and sister. Also, I kind of like the vibe that she said her mom died. So maybe if they are siblings, she was born like, 10 years after him, and then their parents died, and so he had to like start taking care of her, and he was a figure skater, so he's like, well, I want to keep figure skating, so I'm going to take you to the skating rink with me. And then she picked up on it as well, and maybe he got an injury or something and can't skate anymore, so he's like vicariously living through his sister, and it's kind of like a similar but different scenario than Tsukasa and Inori. Again, I am just like headcanoning it. We don't know yet, and I don't want to get my theories too developed when we just met them. But I don't think he's her dad, because otherwise I don't think he's that old. But also, and the way she talks about him doesn't seem like a dad. But maybe they're cousins, maybe they're siblings. We'll go with it. But anyway, he's so scary. Like, look, I just need this man to experience the sunshine that is Tsukasa. And I need this man, this moonly man, to experience the sunlight of Tsukasa. And we'll be fine. Oh my God. I just need that. I need that right now. Poor girl, though. If you were 11 and a scary man did all this and looked at you that way, I would be terrified as well. I love the way that they illustrate her looking absolutely terrified. I love that. So anyway, she has a great expression later on when she goes to get the worms. But yeah, she looks at the skating rink, and I understand why him wanting her to watch the upper level skaters. It's just really sad that her being afraid and imposter syndrome and like doubt in herself is so high that she, looking at the kids, taking tests that she's not even ready for, taking tests that she's just working up towards, that intimidates her, and that makes her nervous and makes her start to like, and then she sees like the girl fall and then pass and fail the test, and that gets her even more scared about what's to come, because she doesn't want to fail like the preliminary test. And then she disappears. She's like, nope, I need to go to my happy place, and that is collecting worms. It's such a weird thing, and I kind of like the uniqueness of it. She's like, I love that this like slimy, creepy thing, like earthworms are kind of gross to me, but she finds them cute. And she finds them cute, and they are like her happy place. I'm glad that we show this girl having this unique happy place. It's really creative. I like it. But also, I love that his drawstrings on his hoodie become like a safe space for her. She's like, oh, they look like earthworms. And he's freaked out by it, which is hilarious. But she finds it as her happy place. But anyway, when you feel down, just worm hunt around. She runs into Hikaru, and I'm sorry. I know they're 11. It's okay. They're the same age. I ship it so hard. I ship it so freaking hard. Like, immediately, I'm like, yes, Japan, let us have this. Let us have this Yuri between Hikaru and Inori. I love it. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, it's okay. Like, her vibes. She just has similar vibes to the tall, dark, and handsome coach in terms of her fashion, her hair, everything. Also, she is giving me the combination of Hotaru from Sailor Moon, who is aka Sailor Saturn. She's giving me vibes of that mixed with Himura from Puelai Magi Madoka Magica. Like, giving me the same vibes. Mix those two characters together, make her energetic and enthusiastic, and boom, there you go. I was really surprised by Hikaru because I was not expecting her personality to be what it is. Like, her personality is so upbeat and nice. I was expecting her to have the personality of Rio, to be honest. I was expecting her to be kind of elitist and snobby and being like, well, I'm an elite figure skater and da-da-da, and you're just a little nobody. I was expecting her to be like that. And then she comes out here and she's the most motivated, motivational, kind person. And she's so humbling. And I'm like, oh, I freaking love Hikaru. She's great. And you know she's freaking amazing. So as a skater, so that's going to be really fun to watch her and Inori's interactions. Because Inori sets up the rivalry like this episode. She throws down the gauntlet and she's like, I want to get as good as you. And Hikaru's like, oh, well, okay, all right. And what I love about it is that Inori is so straightforward and simple about it. She just wants to be as good as Hikaru and wants to beat her in a competition. And I think Hikaru respects that. It's not about jealousy. It's not about like pride. Inori just wants to be good enough to stand on the stage and compete against her. And I think Hikaru recognizes that and she's like, game on, let's go. Whereas Rio has a bit of a chip on his shoulder and some elitism to him. And I just want him to fall on the ice and get a little bit of humbling. She's like, you look like a princess. Please, yes, please. And like immediately Hikaru being like, let's be friends. Like I was not expecting this sunshine personality from Hikaru, which to compare, you know, we have our 4 characters here. We're going to leave Rio over here. You have Tsukasa, who is a ball of sunshine with a ton of anxiety and doubt about himself. And then you have Inori, who's kind of a little gloomy cloud, but she has lots of enthusiasm and also lots of anxiety. Then you have Hikaru, who is a sunshine character like Tsukasa, but she's super crazy confident. Then you have Tall, Dark, and Handsome, who seems very confident, but is super gloomy. And I'm like, what? This just like set of characters getting paired up here for me. I love it. She's like, well, you have the leggings, so you probably are skating. She's like, I skate here too. So she skates where the test is being taken. She's like, when did you start? What level are you? And she's like, well, how did you know I just started? And she's like, oh, he's like, so did you find it? Okay, so then this kid shows up looking like a cross between Izzy from Digimon and Joe from Digimon, but with a horrible personality. Rio has a terrible personality. I imagine I don't think Rio's related to them. He looks nothing like them. But I imagine maybe Rio is coached by the same tall, dark. Does he have an earring? Does this kid have an earring? What a punk. What a punk. I imagine that Rio and Hikaru are coached by the same man, because I think you can have people coached by more than one person. I mean, Victor and Yurio and Yuri on Ice were coached by the same man, so that's very likely. I feel like they're coached by the same person. I feel like, unfortunately, Rio has taken on some personality traits from the coach, whereas Hikaru has been like, I'm not like you. So that's just the vibe that I get. So he's like, did you find it? And she's like, oh, Rio. And then she like pulls it out. So he's like, was it really thrown out? So she has this freaking necklace like she's Anastasia. She's like, whatever, I found it. And then she says, it looks like he broke his phone again. Okay, so the necklace, whatever the necklace was, maybe there was the assumption that the necklace was thrown out in the trash, or that it got lost in the trash. And that's why he was looking through the trash to try to find the necklace. And when he didn't find it, he got mad and threw the phone against the wall and broke it. Okay. And she doesn't seem as concerned about the necklace. She's just like, I found it, whatever. I wonder if the necklace is her mom's. And he was like, you have to find that. That's our mother's necklace. And she was like, okay. But it sounds like the way that she talks about not having a mom, it gives me the impression that her mom died when was either a baby or really young and doesn't quite remember her. And maybe the brother or coach knew the mom and had a deeper connection with her. And so he finds the necklace very sentimental and important, but she doesn't quite get that. Again, I'm making up headcanons. These are just the vibes that I'm getting from their conversation and like the context clues. She's like, that's why I couldn't read him. And he's like, that old man. I love they call him an old man. He's probably 30. He's probably between 26 and 30. And he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Inori. And she just tries to introduce herself. And he's like, he asked her who she was. And then said, shut up, you ugly shrimp. Like, you asked her who she was. And, oh my God. And then immediately, like, Hikaru. Okay. The mood swings where tall, dark, and handsome coach throws his phone and is immediately like grumpy and moody. She has a tendency too. I'm going to say they're related. I'm going to say there's some relation there. I'm just going to say it. There might be some family relationship there because she freaks out just like he does. And also, you know, Rio did not need to be immediately being so mean. I like that we have like here's the thing. We have the stereotypical what you would expect the couples to be, which is why I like Tsukasa and tall, dark, and handsome coach. I'm like, oh, black hair, blonde hair, immediately ship. You have that setup with these two. She has the dark hair, he has the light hair, but they are not compatible whatsoever. So I think that that's fascinating. Maybe he chose them because they look similar. She's like, why are you always so mean? And she's like, ugly shrimp. She's like, it's my damn hair. And he's like, she'd understand if I did. What a little bitch. And he's like, didn't I tell you to shut up? Oh my God. And he's like, well, if you don't know who we are, then you either suck at skating or you're not important. You're an outsider. I'm like, this little bitch. Like, what an elitist little snob. Like, that is so rude. And she's like, don't mind him. He's an asshole. And she goes after him. So that sucks. And yeah, comes back and that's the face that she makes. And Tsukasa and Hitomi are like, what are we doing? But yeah, so she's freaking out. I am glad that Hitomi recognizes that she's got some stress. And, you know, she has this anxiety attack and she like can't remember what's going on. She starts to panic. And Hitomi's like, she might hurt herself if she skates like this. And I'm glad that Hitomi says that because in the moment, I'm like, I'm glad Hitomi and Tsukasa are not trying to push her if she's not ready. I'm glad that they're not doing that because that's the last thing that needs to happen. And so, you know, sometimes in sports anime, the coaches push the kids to do things when they're injured or they really are in danger and shouldn't be doing them. I don't know how tall, dark, and brooding coach is, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth or his coaching style. We'll see. But I'm glad that these two are like, okay, no, she could hurt herself. We're not going to do this. Maybe we should hold back and delay the test. But Tsukasa's like, no, if we delay the test, she's going to feel even more down. And he's like, I don't want her to like delay this any further. So instead he comes over to her and he says, grab my finger and starts this. And what's interesting is that I've done similar techniques to this with like the team that I coach. It's not like through the motions, but whenever a student you can tell is like kind of nervous, you're like, hey, give me your bad energy and I'll soak it up. Now you're good. You know, it's something like that. I love that he walks through the steps with her to lower her anxiety. And that is honestly clinically what you should do in focusing and getting them to do things. He's done that with himself. The trick of this all is that he's done that to himself. That's why he knows about the steps, because he's done it himself. And that connection between the two of them is so cool. I love seeing how he helps her like lower her anxiety because he's done it to himself. It's so good. Love it. I think that's genius. And then I love that he says, you know, it's just one test. He's like, it's just one little thing where it's going to be over and then we're going to go home. Isn't that going to be okay? Right? It's going to be over real soon, right? I love that because I think so often we push on ourselves that these things are like do or die, end of the world scenarios. And when the reality is, no, it's just this little thing. It's not the end of the world. Like, I think that's so great. I love that. And she's like, can I grab one of these? It calms me down like worms. And he's like, Tommy's like, I'm glad the technique I learned turned out to be useful. And Hitomi is like, you're an amazing coach. Yes, yes, yes. Gonna get our people all set to be coached. Yes, Hitomi's looking at this as a business strategy. I love it. So yeah, she goes down, does the skating practice. I think it's really cool that you have to do like skating in these semicircles backwards and forwards. I would have fallen on my butt first thing. Like this girl. I love that they illustrate how you pass the test and what all the steps of it are and like what goes into it. Like, I think that's so cool. I love that we get to see that. So yeah, and then I love that little detail of as she's preparing for the next part, she's like, okay, here's what I have to do. 1, 2, and this, and this. Like she's talking to herself. Awesome. So yeah, also Hitomi and Tsukasa's friendship is so sweet. I think that's awesome. But yeah, here's the thing. These other girls that are passing the test with her, they don't look that much younger than her. She's about the same height as these kids, unless she's just naturally really short. But, like, why is it a big deal? Maybe they're just practicing. Maybe they're not trying to be professional figure skaters, you know? But, yeah. So, as she's getting ready, as if, you know, she has the doubts from the mom. She has the doubts from the mom already, and now she's like, how good do I need to be? And then we hear these other Karens talking about her. I'm like, that just... It does not surprise me that these moms are like, I wish Tsukasa would spend more time with my child instead of her because she's a lost cause. I'm not surprised that these moms are being such bitches, but it makes me very infuriated, very mad. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? But then the savior of the episode, Hikaru, shows up and she dispels all of that. I was feeling so bad. I'm like, how is Inori going to get out of this rut that she's in when everyone around her is doubting her? And then Hikaru comes in her cute little jumper and her beautiful little like Victorian style black bow and everything. Just absolutely adorable. Also, wonder if this clothing looks a little old fashioned. Like if the brother is taking care of her, are these her mom's clothes that she's borrowing because they wear like the same size? My headcanon is just everywhere in this. I can't wait to see more. For the record, I'm probably not going to wait to watch episode 3. I'm so sorry. But you're the girl from before. I knew it. The rink I usually skate at has an equipment inspection, so I came here to skate today. And then she sees these two bitches talking behind her back, and she gets very frustrated. And she's like, how can they say it's easy when they can't even skate? Work, bitch! That's how you tell them. You tell them, girl. That's right. She's like, those moms can't even skate. Why are they getting on to you? They don't know anything. Hikaru is a real one. She has, like, elevated herself. I freaking love her. Her character's great. And then, like, her skates being the black skates with the purple on it. Like, come on. She looks like a totally different person with a ponytail. Also, her clothes all have to be black because her coach is a gloomy, moody, grumpy bear. She's the girl that won Japan's National Novice B contest at her debut. So not the A contest. I wonder what the letter differences are. I'm sure they'll tell us. I'm sure they will tell us what the differences are between them. I also like that, again, she's so humbled. She's so, like, humble as a character because these other kids are like, oh my God, it's Hikaru. She's a celebrity. And she just walks past them. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe she is also so into Inori is because Inori doesn't, like, idolize her. I mean, she does. Hikaru doesn't realize how much she does, but she doesn't, like, worship her and, like, is openly like, oh, let's be friends just because of how famous she is. She's just nice. And I think maybe Hikaru appreciates that. So, yeah. She just pushed once, but she's like the wind. Like the ice is moving her. And I love this little, you can see Tsukasa like fade away into Hikaru's skates. Also, little things on the skates are pretty cool. But you can see Tsukasa being like, you know, if you want to do something right, here's how you do it. And then Inori is getting to see that in action through Hikaru and how she illustrates that being done properly. That's really cool. But come on now. Come on now. This shot here of them holding hands, like this shot right here with the heart, show you're fooling no one. You are fooling no one at all. I'm already into this. And I love that you have this, again, this is Puella Magi Monica Magica coded. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. I'm just putting it in the nether sphere. But like the way that they're so opposites, but yet she's keeping up with our girl Hikaru and trying her hardest to like get up to her level. I love it. I love it. It just, the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed already, and I barely know these characters. Also, she's amazing. Like Hikaru, you can tell like she makes it look so effortless. Y'all, I'm shipping so hard. And she's like, you know, you were catching up with me. And I love that Hikaru doesn't judge her. Like whenever Inori has this breakdown, she cries and she's like, how am I supposed to catch up with you? And Hikaru's like, well, to be quite honest, I've had a lot of practice and I don't really go to school. She's like, I want to be a pro skater, so I don't really go to school. This is I'm kind of banking on this being my thing, my bread and butter winner. So she's like, can you teach me? And she's like, you probably need to talk to a coach. Teach me how to jump, girl. I just love that she's like, we're the same age, but there's this gap between us. And I like that Hikaru is very honest. She's like, look, I can't teach you if you've never jumped before. She's like, I'd like to help out, but I can't. You know, you're going to have to learn like some more basics before we can do that. And she's like, I'm glad we bumped into each other. And so she said, what's your name? And she's like, Inori-chan, now we can be friends. And she's like, friends with you? I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. She's like, you were amazing just now. Your personality is completely different from my first impression of you. Well, likewise, my first impression of Hikaru, I did not think she would have this personality. I was so pleasantly surprised. And she's like, yeah, let's practice. I always go to the rink after lunch. She's like, you live school in the middle of the day? And she's like, not just the middle. So then we have this shot. She's like, sometimes I skip school altogether. Now, there is stuff being set up with that. Also, I'm like, dude, you're wearing a trench coat and full black on the ice. He is committed to the bit. He is committed to the tall, dark, brooding loner bit. I tell you. But that does raise some questions. Again, you know, her skipping school altogether to be a figure skater and to practice all the time, it makes me feel as if the coach is kind of impatient with her to get to the level that he wants her to be at. I'm going to be so curious to see about his teaching styles and like what he does. I just like the rinks only open certain hours. Look at this man with his turtleneck and his black trench coat. Shut the frick up. I want him in floral by the end of this season. And my skating skills are nowhere where I want them to be. Girl, again, if this is not illustrating the like double standard we set to ourselves, Inori thinks she's a goddess. Inori thinks she's like heaven on ice. And Hikaru says that her skating skills are nowhere where she wants them to be. So she still wants to get better. She still wants to improve it more. Now, is some of what Hikaru is saying influenced by her coach / could be relative? We're going to find out, but it could be. You have to take that much time to practice. I like that Hikaru is like, look, I didn't just get good. I'm practicing at all hours of the day to get to the level I want to be. She's like, so don't feel bad that you're not there yet. She's like, it's going to take time and a lot of work. And she's like, my mom will probably say no. And this part here is interesting. She goes, well, why would she get in the way of wanting you to get better? I think that's going to come up because I think that the coach is very much enabling, being like, oh, okay. Again, we're setting up very different extremes. You have the mom who is dealing with her own PTSD from her one daughter and is trying to limit the other daughter because she just doesn't see it as being something worthwhile. Then you have the coach who seems to be enabling Hikaru, and he's like, oh, you want to practice all hours of the day? Let's practice all hours of the day. And sure, right now, Hikaru seems totally on board with it and like that's something she wants to do. Is that going to be something that is going to get tested later on? It very well could. But it feels like he's like, sure, if you want to practice, go for it. You want to skip school to practice? Let's do it. A very different extreme. She's like, I think you should tell her that you want to get better at this. I like that Inori ends up taking Hikaru's advice, but tries it out on Tsukasa first. She doesn't just immediately go to the mom because I think the mom would have shot her down. But Tsukasa, of course, is like, yes, let's keep practicing. I think it's like building up to her having the confidence and the courage to talk to her mom and address it. And then maybe her sister if it comes to that. But then she says the line, she goes, oh, well, I don't even have a mom. So there's extra stuff here that I'm like, ooh. Also, you know what this is also reminding me of? And I'm sure you all are like, oh, wow, you're just now talking about this. This is giving me Bloomin' to You vibes as well. Again, if you've not watched Bloomin' to You, if you've not watched Puella Magi Magica, if you've not watched Sailor Moon, stop what you're doing, write it down, and then when this video is over, go watch those things. Go make a list. Make a to-do list. But in Bloomin' to You, the two leads, they look like these girls. They look exactly like these girls. I'm like, yes, please. Y'all are probably like, I can't believe you didn't mention this earlier, but the taller girl with the dark hair that's really long, and then the shorter girl with the short brown hair, there's a type. It's typecast. There's a Yuri typecast. I asked my coach to get me to the Olympics. Now, I want to go back here and see if she says Nisama or anything, or if it really says coach. So give me just a moment. No, she said coach. Okay. I wondered, like, if maybe if they are related, they have the same hair and eye color. Like in an anime, that's like kiss of relation, kiss of family reunion right there. But I imagine she calls him coach because he probably tells her to call him coach because there's an age difference between them that make them seem more like coach and student than brother, sister, or whatever. And also, I'm sure that if he's also coaching Rio, you don't want to give off the vibes of favoritism. And I mean, she's amazing. And Rio seems to have a chip on his shoulder, so maybe he kind of assumes there's some favoritism there. Again, I know nothing about them, but I want to know more. I'm so excited to learn more. Yeah, I want to go to the Olympics. And honestly, Hikaru is very mature for her age. And she is very well spoken for her age. Like, she gets it. She's like, adults assume they know how we feel all the time. But that's not the case. They think I'll be satisfied with being decent. But I'm not like that. So if you feel the same way, you should say something. They won't know unless you tell them. Girl, communication skills. If skating doesn't work out for you, you could become a communicator. I love that. But yeah, I think that's amazing. I'm like, girl knows a lot. And she gives, and also, again, with Hikaru, she has the green eyes with the yellow inside. And then you have our girl Inori who has the red with like the purple inside. Like the opposites, like the red with the orange, they're opposites. They're complementary colors. Stop. The skaters I've always admired work to get better and better. I think that that's good for her to understand as well, that even if you get to a level where you think that you're amazing, there's still more you can do. There's still levels to go to. There's still like different rungs of the ladder you can climb. It's not that they get to be amazing and then they just look down on everybody like peasants. They're still trying to improve as well. But I do think that it's sad that she's like, it's not good enough just to be able to figure skate. Can I say that I want to be like her? I look forward to the day where Inori does not self-doubt herself as much and where she has faith and confidence in herself. I look forward to that day because it needs to happen. It makes me so sad because I feel like all of us in some way, shape, or form have probably been have had at least a moment with something in our lives where we feel like Inori. And whether or not you go through it and get better or you give up on it, I feel like we just want to see her succeed. And we're rooting for her. But yeah, and so Tsukasa gives her the badge, which is so adorable. And he's like, I'm a newbie coach, so I'll do my best. And then her saying, I want to go all the way. Will you help me get a lot better? Now, she said she wants to get a gold medal. I know she's like, I want to be the best. And here's the thing. I'm glad that Inori acknowledges that to be the best, to be good, you're going to have to do a lot of things you don't want to do. That's the thing. I think a lot of students want to take shortcuts and they're like, well, this person's amazing. I want to get to their level. But they don't realize, like what Hikaru illustrates, all the work that goes into that. And if you want to be good, you're going to have to do things that are not fun. Like you're going to have to practice. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to do things that you're not going to be crazy about. But those are all in service of getting better and succeeding. So they're all important. They're all valuable things to have happened. But damn girl, it wasn't enough just to get to the Olympics. Now you want a gold medal? Okay, Yuri, let's go. Do I think she's going to get a gold medal her first year, even if we get there to the Olympics? No, I don't think so. But I think I think she will learn along the way that it's not just about getting the gold medal, but it's about the journey and the growth to get to that stage. And I think Tsukasa knows that that's a worthy goal. Now he cuts her off before she says, and then my mom. That makes me so sad. I feel like the mom doesn't realize that she assumes the mom doesn't love her as much as her sister because of what's happened. And I'm like, oh, I wish her mom could hear that. And I wish her mom would, tell her that, no, it's not, hopefully not the case. So we'll see. We'll see. But I love that Tsukasa's like, look, I'm going to coach you. And he's like, anyone who sees you will think that you're a figure skating genius. Like, Tsukasa he is all on board. He's just like such a big beam of sunlight. I'm like, I have a feeling. I have a very distinct feeling that his style of coaching and Tall, Dark, and Handsome style of coaching are going to be a little different. And maybe if they see each other coach, we'll be a little at odds with one another. But, oh my God! The Vash and Wolfwood vibes. I thought Trigun was over for me, y'all. No, we just went to a figure skating AU. Yes! Yes! Again, put Trigun on your list if you've not watched it. And if you like the dynamics that I'm coming up with these two characters, go watch it. So yeah. He's like, and I love their little fist bump. I love seeing this healthy coach-student relationship on screen. It's so wonderful and it's adorable. Absolutely love it. So yeah. He's like, we're going to go. And then we cut to the ED. The ED is adorable. That little worm. I love it. It's so sweet. Also, it's so cute. I've never wanted a worm plush in my life. But this series makes me want it. Although normally I'm like, Tsukasa, bless him. Bless him. A Flareon and an Umbreon. That is this man and Tall, Dark, and Handsome coach. Oh my God. So yeah, I really like this series. I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm already in love with it. So there's that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this reaction discussion. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably gonna watch episode 3 before I get to check comments, and I'm so sorry. But I have to. I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed with this series. I need to see more. Y'all are lucky I ain't binged it, so it may happen. Anyway, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below and to read your comments. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yes, I'll be back very soon with more Medalist.